If Bendigo falls, the rest of Australia will fall.
Fall to what?
Islam.
From around Australia, they converged. 1,000 or so protesters nominally here to stop a mosque. In reality, though, this demonstration was about much more.
At the end of the day, you can either be a Muslim or an Australian. It must be either or, because the two do not correlate and do not correspond.
The rally was organised by the United Patriots Front, a nationalist movement that sprung up only in the last 6 months. From its birth on social media, it has emerged as one of the largest grassroots anti-Islam organisations in Australia.
Hello, my dear patriotic Australians and left-wing traders who might actually learn something from this.
Its national leader is Sherman Burgess, a former council worker from the Blue Mountains who goes by the online name of the Great Aussie Patriot. Burgess formed the UPF when he split from the Reclaim Australia movement earlier this year because he thought Reclaim was being hijacked.
We also are more hardline nationalist compared to some other groups that are more democratic anti-Islam. Now, the problem with democratic anti-Islam is a lot of these movements, without even realising it, can be diluted, watered down and become politically correct themselves.
His prolific videos on Facebook outline his political views and promote a strongman image.
Bendigo rally, yeah!
Burgess was also part of a band, Eureka Brigade, which penned this violent anti-Islam song.
It is because of people like us that
The UPF wasn't the only group at the weekend rally. There have been a number of different anti-Islam groups that have demonstrated at rallies across the country, and in the wake of the Lindt Cafe siege and now the Parramatta shooting. The UPF claims to have gained a following of about 5,000 people in just a few months. The weekend's Bendigo rally was its biggest outing so far and was supported by plenty of locals who oppose the building of the planned mosque.
The UPF has given us a voice and the rest of Bendigo a voice of what we want.
The UPF has only recently begun protesting what has until now been a local issue.
They approached us before the last rally and we decided had mixed feelings about it. We didn't know how to deal with it really.
The local anti-mosque group agreed to work with the UPF ahead of its last Bendigo rally in August. After that rally turned ugly, the group has now disassociated itself from the UPF.
Well, the UPF have got nothing to do with our group. We've remained very autonomous and focused on what we needed to focus on with planning and legal issues.
Many, though, in Bendigo support the building of a mosque in the town.
It isn't really going to make any difference. It isn't going to make any more Muslims appear or anything. It's just going to be somewhere for them to pray and feel safe.
The UPF has encouraged its supporters to go to other rallies interstate.
We're in Sydney. We're travelling over 10 hours to get to Melbourne. Why are you all going?
Australia! Australia first!
7:30 filmed this in July ahead of an anti-Islam rally at Victorian State Parliament.
Let's get on that bus and go and show these traitors and radical Muslims what we're about.
The UPF says it's not racist, but it does attract those with far-right views.
We're going to kick the Muslims out and the Jews, and then else who gets in our way, we're going to kick them out.
The Muslims and the Jews, you're going to kick them
Asians,
out?
yeah, we're going to take Australia back to the white man.
You're a neo-Nazi.
That's right. I've been a National Socialist all my life.
This is Ross May, known as the Skull. He's a member of neo-Nazi group Squadron 88. The UPF said it didn't know his political allegiance and it made a point of kicking him off its bus.
Sweet. Well, mate, you're getting removed, all right? Mate, you know as well as I do, all right, that we're not racists.
In Bendigo, though, it was clear that the UPF's rallies continue to draw those from the extreme right. These men didn't want to be interviewed on camera, but readily admitted to being members of the anti-immigrant group Right Wing Resistance. They travelled to Bendigo from Brisbane and Adelaide to lend their support. And one of the UPF's Victorian leaders has been convicted of harassing a rabbi. Last year, Neil Erickson made a number of prank calls and threatened to come and get Melbourne rabbi David Gutnick.
We're just going to give you a bit of a taste of our own religious culture. Carry on, brother.
Another Victorian leader, Blair Cottrell, ramped the temperature up a notch earlier this month, filming a fake beheading in front of Bendigo City Council. At Saturday's rally, Blair Cottrell and other UPF leaders wouldn't talk to the ABC.
I haven't got anything to say, I'm sorry. I've already spoken to a couple of you. I'm going to keep moving, OK? Thanks very much.
You don't want to just tell us what you think today actually means?
It's a demonstration of community pride and strength. It's not so much a protest as it is a demonstration in which we're conveying a new point of view to the people.
Is this about much more than just the mosque?
Thanks, I'm done. Thank you.
Victorian Acting Deputy Police Commissioner Kevin Casey says the police isn't too worried about what appears to be growing Islam sentiment.
I see the UPF as a fringe group that are trying to get traction wherever they can and create disquiet or fear in the community. But they're only a small fringe group, and nevertheless, while we take them seriously, our jobs to actually maintain peace and order and encourage the community that they should feel safe.
Victorian Muslim leaders are also playing down the influence of the UPF and similar groups.
I'm very confident that the impact that they're going to have on Australian society will be minimal, and to a point where they will start to peter out and probably go back to the rock from which they crawled out from.
However, that's not the message coming from the UPF and other anti-Islam groups. Last month, National leader Sherman Burgess said the UPF is looking to field political candidates in coming elections. The Rise Up Australia Party's leader, Danny Nalaya, also spoke in Bendigo. The party's deputy president says anti-Islam groups, including the UPF and Reclaim Australia, are in regular contact.
We do have a common ground in that we don't want to see terrorist threats like we saw just in Parramatta. So we'll leave aside some of the issues we disagree on to say we do have common ground, and we all will get candidates into Parliament. We will join together and see what we can do.
Aussie, Aussie!